You had this defense that you knew was going to be pretty much the standard Kirby Smart defense, and the offense filled with weapons that you were just wondering, why did it take them so long to get things started? And a theory was that maybe they were holding some stuff back because they played nobody the first 2 games of the season. That seemed to be the case. Gunnar Stockton, a quarterback.
Spoiler alert, everybody.
Spoiler alert, Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo are at it again, folks. They hoodwinked everybody, anybody that had questions about Gunnar Stockton. Turns out they were just waiting for the big opportunity. And, I mean, let me just say, Ben, I mean, clearly the questions were warranted, right, with Gunnar Stockton and Georgia's offense, just because we'd never seen Gunnar, one, in that kind of environment, but two, really play, consistently and be able to push the ball down the field. That was the big question. Not only did Gunnar Stockton push the ball down the field, he did it with pressure in his face all day long. I mean, there were UT defenders draped over this man, taking shots at this man all day, 23 of 31, 304 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, another touchdown on the ground.
Salty.
This guy did everything he needed to do to prove that Georgia was once again a contender. And the best moment of all, 4th and 6, game on the line, an absolute dime to London Humphreys in the corner of the end zone. He made plays like that time and time again all day. But I think Georgia proved a lot, and they proved to everybody that their offense can be really, really, really lethal in SEC play. The big question now is on the backside of their defense and their secondary, which had some concerns a year ago. They looked pretty foolish against Joey Aguilar in Tennessee. And maybe we need to give more credit to Joey Aguilar and Josh Heupel in Tennessee, because he's been great. But just your thoughts watching that Georgia team, because, I mean, it was a night and day difference from their first 2 games against Marshall and Austin Peay to what we saw against Tennessee.
Listen to Sudu all smitten now that Gunnar Stockton did his thing. Listen to Sudu. I thought it answered a lot of questions about Georgia and its contending status. But really watching that game and how it unfolded, the biggest takeaway was, and we're going to be unrolling a new segment here shortly, bless your heart, Tennessee.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Because they had the game won multiple times. And I think we can already make the judgment call. UCLA has fired its head coach. They're an absolute train wreck. No NIL dollars, no nothing, no fan base, nothing. It is a dead program over there in L.A. Joey Aguilar is far and away an improvement over Nico. And that recruiting class with Nico and Arch and them, they're just not off to a good start in their first starting group opportunity, Sudu. They are all outside of Dante Moore. It's been a struggle. And Jackson Arnold's on there too. And for Auburn, I think Auburn's a pretty good football team. Point is that trading Nico for Joey Aguilar, Tennessee, you should be thanking your lucky stars, because he has been an improvement. Tennessee is to be taken seriously as far as everyone else in a wide open SEC. Georgia answered its questions about its contending status, but it didn't. You don't leave that game going, oh, well, Georgia is the class of the SEC. There is no class of the SEC. Anybody can win. Anybody can beat anybody. It's part of the reason why the SEC was so hell-bent on moving to that 9-game SEC schedule. Why play more difficult games, even though you're going to play quality non-conference games now with the 9-game schedule? But we're going to be beating up each other already enough. The 2-3-2-loss teams then from the SEC absolutely, after a 9-game schedule, will deserve to be in, no debate. Even consider 9-3 teams with the strength of their schedule. And this SEC you see the vision now when you look at the SEC this year. There is no dominant team. It is wide open. I left there going, yeah, Gunnar Stockton can do this. But looking down Ole Miss's schedule, because, again, my day job is I write for Rebel Grove on 3, the Ole Miss site. $1, sign up. I was writing that in as an automatic loss because, 1, it's in Athens, and 2, I thought Georgia would be the class of the SEC. There is no class, so I look at Ole Miss, and Trinidad Chambliss creating some magic. Defensively, they've got a lot to fix. It's pretty bad right now.
No doubt. Yeah.
But you don't just assume losses anymore in this SEC. It told me how wide open it's going to be, which is thrilling for you and me and all the fans and all of you watching. It's thrilling then that we know that any weekend it is wide open. Anybody can beat anybody. So just pick the team that is playing the best, most consistent football. Like I did picking Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt.
Vandy, that's right.
To beat South Carolina. I expected it to be a little closer, but no, sir. The Vandy boys with juice opened up a can
They
on
did.
South Carolina. And we're going to talk about it too. Can we take a moment? The South Carolina overhype since they finished 9-3 has been not by their own design, but by national media narratives and pushed. And folks, South Carolina isn't good. It wasn't good when it was 27-3 and beat a bad Clemson team.
Right.
Because Ole Miss beat that team and actually was ranked ahead of them at the end of the college football playoff considerations, as they should have been. Good on the committee. Beat the crap out of them in their place 27-3. I don't know where all the South Carolina bloviating came from, but now we can all kind of see it for what it is. It's a wide open SEC, and right now South Carolina is not one of the best teams in that SEC. They're at the bottom of the barrel, while Vanderbilt goes in there and puts it on them. And Ole Miss's Diego Pavia, as described to me by an Ole Miss staffer, has got some real juice for the Rebels that sit atop the SEC.
Yeah.
After 3 weeks.
No, it is wide open. And going back to just Georgia, right, once again, it's like they still are Georgia because of – it's the same thing when Saban was there. There is a mental block, a mental hurdle for opponents that play them to where you have to play a perfect game to beat them. And Tennessee played as perfect of a game as you probably could. Aguilar did have those 2 interceptions, but all in all, their defensive line got pressure. I mean, Georgia's got a problem on their offensive line, no doubt. The injuries have definitely racked up there. Their tackles were having a tough day. But Gunnar Stockton proved, even with pressure in his face, he's a tough son of a gun, took almost every hit you could take and completed passes. Their run game, they didn't have a 100-yard rusher, but altogether they did enough on the ground. We've talked about Zachariah Branch. This guy's going to continue to show up. One of the most explosive players in the country, played a big role. There were a couple drops from their receivers, but clearly this has been an upgrade from a season ago. So Georgia's offense now has answered a lot of questions, but like you're saying, it's not a flawless team. You do have issues on the offensive line. The defensive line, in my opinion, didn't get enough pressure on Joey Aguilar. The secondary got absolutely torched by Joey Aguilar and Tennessee's receiving core. So you're right. It is a very a parity-driven league now, and honestly, the SEC that used to be known for its great defenses has sort of disappeared. I mean, Florida's defense, surprisingly, is really good. Only has given up 2 touchdowns despite an atrocious start to the year. But overall, it's kind of looking like this is an offensive league at the moment, and that's evidenced by this elite defensive team in Georgia that we always expect, having a pretty incredible offense. So, you know, a big day to celebrate on Saturday for Georgia fans. It kind of especially people that were questioning Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo did a lot of different things in that game that Georgia hadn't done all season. And I think that obviously, you know, chills that conversation out for a little bit of like, hey, let them cook. Until they give you a reason not to believe in them, let them cook. And Georgia is still Georgia.
Cook. They're cooking. Gunnar Stockton was named the offensive SEC player of the week for his performance against Tennessee.
Rightfully so, man.
Rightfully so. So, yeah, Georgia answered questions about what it needed to be to keep its contending status.
Yeah.
But did it blow you over and say, oh, wow, Georgia is back? I don't think anybody will ever be back.
And they're a young team. I think Kirby said at the beginning of the season, this is like 58% of the team has never played or had never started. But the one thing I will say about...
But also, though, like on the flip side of that, State's got 60 new players. Ole Miss has got 60 new players. That's everybody now.
Right, just the point. The mold of college football where it's at it, no doubt. But I think the difference in this team is, once again, the guy at the top. It starts with Kirby Smart. This team, that win showed me a lot of grit in this team because of even how young it is. It was able to go into an environment like Neyland and pull this win out. It scares me for what this team's going to become when it matters the most, which is what Kirby Smart has been so good at, October, November, being able to win. That's what worries me about this Georgia team.
Houston Nutt did say they remember in November.
Damn right.
They remember in November. It is quite charming to see my guys so smitten after Georgia's able to hold on and beat Tennessee.
I'm just saying. I mean, we all had questions. I came on the pod last week and said we had questions about Gunnar Stockton pushing the ball down the field, and I legitimately expected when the game went 21-7. I said, "Oh no, the Dawgs are done." I mean, if their defense can't stop Aguilar, but it was their offense that saved them. That was the difference in this game.
In Tennessee missing. It's just poor Tennessee.
And Kirby said it. Kirby said, we deserve to lose, and he was very honest about that. Which I don't think he's wrong. I mean, the way they played, they did deserve to lose. But once again, this is what makes the elite teams the elite teams. This is what makes Kirby Smart's program what it has been the last few years. I watched them almost lose to South Carolina a few years ago, Missouri the year before that, Kentucky last year. Like, they have a game like this every year at the beginning of the year, but they always find a way to get over that hump. And once they get over that hump, it's like they've got it, and they're cruising for the most part. So they showed some grit. Once again, Tennessee with Joey Aguilar, man, they won that trade, no doubt about it. 24 for 36, 370-plus yards, 4 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, did have the 2 interceptions. And their receiver, Chris Brazzell, man, 6 receptions, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
That dude.
They played without 2 starting cornerbacks, which I'm not going to take Georgia's win away from them by bringing that up. But I will say, once you get Jermod McCoy and I forget other guy's name, when they get these 2 guys back, that defense is even better. I think Tennessee went from being just the team that nobody talked about because they lost Nico to all of a sudden, Tennessee might be back in the playoff conversation because they've clearly upgraded at the quarterback position and they were able to get into the playoff a year ago, right? So all in all, I think that game definitely told us a lot about both teams.